Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel and check out the other videos. And if you're here for a second, third, or fourth time, thank you so much for coming back and getting creative. Alright guys, another fun Dr. Seuss painting for my beginners. So grab your supplies, transfer your traceable to your surface, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. Now on mine, you'll notice that the traceable I went over with a black Sharpie marker, and that's for those of you at home that are going to draw what you see. So if you're utilizing the traceable, you do not have to do that step. So we are going to start with the background, and we're going to start with light blue. So I'm using that big flat brush. And we're going to start with white and a little bit of blue to make our light blue. And again, you have full permission to change colors. So we're going to kind of have a light section for where each of the Lorax trees are. So we're kind of starting about a couple inches above the tree trunk and then placing a dot and then making that dot bigger until you basically have, almost looks like a lollipop to me, a light blue lollipop. And then don't forget the little dude down by the horizon line. So now we're going to go a little bit darker. So I want you to go 2 shades darker than what you put on your canvas. And then we're going to surround this, that super light blue. And we're just going to kind of keep doing this as we get a little bit darker and darker as we get towards the edges of the canvas. Now I am applying my paint kind of thick because it is student grade paint. And where the 2 shades overlap with light pressure, if you go over the 2 sections, you can do a little bit of blending. And this is called wet on wet blending. So now we're going to go with a bit darker blue, and again, just kind of keep going around the perimeter that we've already established. And again, as you get to the edges of the canvas, carry that color around the sides of the canvas if you are painting on a stretched canvas. It looks nice having that color wrap around the sides if you're on a stretched canvas. And if you have to mix your color 2 or 3 times and you have a slightly different shade of blue, darker or lighter than what you were just using, don't stress out about that too much. Variety in your background is to your benefit. And so now with this kind of medium blue, we're going to be filling in the remaining space of the background. And I am painting right over those tree trunks. So go ahead and do that on yours. We will lay the tree trunk color on top of it after it dries. And if you need to, as you get in close more towards the Lorax, actually, I don't know what the trees are called. I forgot. But as you're getting closer towards the Lorax, feel free if you need to grab the smaller brush, go right ahead and do that. And here you can see I'm grabbing that direct blue and kind of just slapping it right on top of that medium blue. You do, at this point, you want to do everything that you want to do to your background before we move on to the next step. And it's easier to do it now while you have that color wet and malleable. You can even introduce some white, which I believe I'll do a little bit later on. Here, grabbing that smaller brush just to get it around some of those details. And I am going over some of the pointy edges on his little beard. So again, don't feel like you have to get every single little detail in there. The nice thing about acrylic paint, once it dries, you can put another layer of paint on top of it. So if you happen to take off his little arms there, we can reapply it when we get to that color right on top of this. So basically with painting, try not to stress out too much and enjoy the process of creation. All right, doing good. And I forgot to tell you guys to breathe. So if you're holding your breath, remember to just relax, let it out. This is a escape from the world. I tell all my adult students, I want you to be adult kindergartners and just relax and enjoy the process of transforming this white surface or this blank surface into your final painting. And it's more important about the process of painting rather than your outcome. So again, the process of painting is very therapeutic to counter other aspects in your daily life. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo. We're going to move into green and fill in the bottom, these little rolling hills down here. And that little bottom trunk on that right-hand side, I'll be painting right on top of that as well. And same thing as the top, if you are on a stretched canvas, carry this right around the sides of the canvas just to add to the appeal of your final picture. And like I said earlier, I am using student grade paint, so this I'm actually applying rather thick. So notice that every couple of moments I do grab another big blob of the green paint, and I'm holding that brush at kind of a 45-degree angle, so that way I can apply it a little bit thicker and my brush strokes don't show up as much. And apparently I did leave the base of that tree over there. If you happen to paint over yours, that's okay. Our tree trunks will be black and we'll apply those later on in the video. And again, if you need to adjust anything, do that now, and then you can let your painting dry as we move, before we move into the fluffiness of the trees. So we're going to start with light purple, and I'm using that middle flat brush. You can use the pointy brush if you prefer that. And we're kind of making these little, like almost like pinwheel spokes, these curved long dash marks. And they're all kind of radiating in the same little slight spiral effect. So we're going to do that pretty excessively with that light purple, and then we're going to go on top with a medium purple, and then even direct purple if you want. So to make that medium purple, just add more purple to your mixture and go about 2 to 3 shades darker than what you were just using. And again, notice that just about every brush stroke, every 2 brush strokes, I go back and grab more paint. So that way I'm actually applying more paint and not just moving around the paint that is on the surface. All right, so clean that brush. We're going to do the same thing for the next little tree, but we're going to do it with a light pink. And again, pulling that white aside, a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of red goes a long way to make your light pink. And if your shade is a little darker or lighter than mine, totally okay. So same thing here, doing those kind of pinwheel spokes, just kind of radiating out from the center, a little bit of a curve, definitely overlapping your brush strokes. And then we'll make a medium pink to go on top of that, and then we'll actually use a little bit of the direct red. So again, full permission to change colors, to do a different design, anything that you want to do to your trees. And somebody leave a comment. I forgot what these trees are called, so please leave a comment below, just so I know. All right, and again, if you're noticing that you've got a lot of buildup on your brush, you can wipe off that excess paint, and that'll make it a little bit easier to control some of the bristles, because as you get that buildup on there, it just makes your brush strokes wider and wider. All right, here using that direct red, I'll be a little more sparing since it is a bolder color, but every brush stroke I am grabbing more red since we are putting wet paint on top of wet paint. Again, using that medium flat brush, or you can use that small pointy brush. And as you do this, just kind of play with the pressure of your brush as you are applying your paint. So that little tree in the bottom right-hand corner, we're actually just going to use, oh, I forgot we put a few little highlights in there. So if you want to put some white in there, same thing, we'll do it on both. I think it would have actually been a better option to do that after it dried. The white would have stood out a little more bold. So something to keep in mind as you are creating your painting. Please just use most of my paintings as a base guideline, but full permission to change and make any of the paintings on my channel unique to you. All right, so now we're grabbing that purple for the tree in the back. We're not going to do too many colors on this one because he is more in the distance, but still getting that same kind of flow, that pinwheel effect. And again, if you're finding that your brush is shaky as you're going to do this one, especially the smaller one, that means you're holding your breath. So if you exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, that will be of benefit to your process. All right, now we're moving down to the small pointy brush, and we're going to use orange. And I did not have orange on here, so we're going to make it. So we start with that yellow. Again, a tiny, tiny amount of red will go a long way to make your orange. And we're going to fill in the body of the Lorax and his top head. And again, because it is such a small little space, treat your brush kind of like a pencil, using just the last 2 millimeters of the brush, and keep grabbing more paint so you're applying it kind of thick. And again, exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, and that will help as you get into these tiny spots. All right, and then clean the brush. We're going to use yellow paint for the front of the tree trunk of the tree that has been cut down, that upset the Lorax. And then we're going to use a little bit of red or a darker orange for that top section that he's sitting on, and then the yellow as well for his little mustache. And here, since the background is wet, you can make little dash marks for the end of his big fluffy mustache. you can get a little bit more pointier with that. All right, so here using a little bit of that red, a bit darker orange for that base of the tree that's been cut off. Another good spot to pause the video and take your progress photo. We're going to be using black paint from here on out. Again, more than welcome to switch out colors. Oh, put a little bit of white for his eyes, and then we'll come back and put some black pupils on there. And I am going to start with the Lorax just because it is one of the more difficult ones to outline. So you want to use just the tip of that brush, treat it like a pencil. If this is too much for you, you can do this with a Sharpie marker or a paint pen. So you got a few options. I do recommend just giving it a go, giving it a try with the brush, just because you're getting more comfortable with your brush pressure and control each time that you paint. And then as we move into the other elements, you can allow your the width of your line to get a little bit wider. And then we'll be using a little more pressure. Here we go, as we do the trunks of the tree. And we're going to do that for all three of them. And then one on the right, we're going to overlap that tree in the background. And again, if you kind of make your line and then the texture of the canvas shows up, just go back and reapply more black paint. And then outlining that hill. And if you want to add any extra little sprigs of grass or any other elements, birds in the sky, feel free to make this your own and get creative. That is basically the point of all the videos on my channel. Please just get creative. So putting little pupils on the Lorax's eyes. And then this part's going to be optional. I'm going to clean the brush. I'm going to use white paint and just kind of break up some of the that darkness on the tree trunks, and just kind of putting a few little choppy lines in there. And again, that just helps break up the space. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. Do it if you want to. So thanks so much, you guys, for hanging out with me and getting creative. Don't wait too long to do your next painting. And until then, cheers.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the process of painting and I hope you are happy with how your paintings turned out. I'm really proud of you for getting creative. As you're uploading these to social media, please tag me at or hashtag paintwithlovejoy or email me your pictures paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. I really enjoy seeing them. I try to post them on social media to encourage other beginner painters to try the process of painting. But please share this with your community as well. Anybody who is kind of scared to paint, share your experience with them and let them know kind of how much you benefited from it and how much you enjoyed the process. So kind of share the fun. With that being said, if you have any comments, questions, feedback, things that you want me to paint in the future, please leave a comment. I try to respond to everybody as quickly as I can. And any of the future suggestions for paintings, I add that to my production list and get to them as quickly as I can. So in the meantime, please keep getting creative. Let me know how you're doing. And until next time, cheers.